Shalom, 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 beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of Vibing with the Real 12 Tribes. I'm Brother Mike, and today we're going to talk about how you are the light of the world, or how you can be the light of the world. Okay, so let's read a couple of scriptures, all right, and then we'll jump into this conversation. All right, so here we go. We'll start with Proverbs 4:18. That is Proverbs 4:18. And it reads, "But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more until the perfect day." Okay, going down to verse 19. "The way of the wicked is darkness. They know not at what they stumble." Let's read it again. "But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more until the perfect day." Verse 19, "The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble." So as we were reading this, I was thinking about the fruits of the Spirit and how this scripture, we can compare it to the fruits of the Spirit. So let's jump over to Galatians. Jump over to Galatians 5, starting at verse 19. Okay? So, reading verse 19. "Now these are the works of the flesh." Okay, now the works of the flesh are manifested, which these are adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, sedition, heresies, envies, murders, drunkenness, and such the like, which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh. Now again, going back to Proverbs, let me find my place. We're back to Proverbs. Do you have it?
Yep, Proverbs 4:18.
Yep.
Or start at 19.
No, we can start at 19.
19. "The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble."
So when we are in the works of the flesh, okay, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, uncleanliness, adultery, fornication, we're in darkness. We are the walking dead. That is not the spirit of our Father, Yahweh. And it's so much easier to do those things because it almost seems like everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
And
it's accepted by the world.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Great way to take all that. It's accepted by the world. So it's easier to do those things, or it's more acceptable. Or the world, they honor those things. You know what I mean? They make jokes about those things. It's like, hey, this is the status quo. But what does Yahweh say? What does Yahweh say? Let's go back to Proverbs 4:18. "But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more until the perfect day." Let's read the fruits of the Spirit. Now, y'all was talking about the fruits of the Spirit. "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no penalty." Hallelujah. "And they that are the Messiahs have crucified the flesh with all the affections and lust. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vain glory, provoking one another, envying one another."
Praise Yahweh.
Let's go back to Proverbs. What does it say? "But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day." Yahweh is spirit, and we must worship him in spirit and in truth. When we are what? And when we're performing the fruits of the Spirit, when we are, I should have said it best. when we are producing those type of fruits, love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance, then we are in the spirit of Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh.
Because that's who Yahweh is.
That's right. That's the right path that we're walking.
100%.
The path he wants us to walk.
So we are shining. We're shining through this world when we are performing these things, when we are producing this type of fruit. We're shining. Because people are going to look at you like you're weird or you're different.
But I love it in Galatians 5:26. Let us not be desirous of vain glory, the vanity. You know, especially coming into the truth. Just watching certain things now, just realizing how vain this world is. Like humanity's put so much value into things, into name brand things. Who's like got the best car, the biggest house, just a lot of vanity, and a lot of worshiping of those things, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it literally, Yahweh's telling us, don't be desirous of those things or provoking one another, envying one another. We're constantly comparing ourselves. Oh, next door neighbor's got a better BMW or got a better car than I do, or they have a bigger house than I do, or, constantly comparing one another to each other, That's not how Yahweh wants us to walk or be,
100%. Yahweh says Yahweh's love. Yahweh is love. That is his spirit. He has a spirit of love. He gave us Yahshua to die on the cross for us. He had such radical love for us that he gave Yahshua to die on the cross for us. That's a love for us that he had for you, me, him, her, all of us. Man, like that's the example that we have to follow. That is how we are going to shine in the world. We shine through our gifts and our talents that Yahweh has given us. But we produce fruit. We produce good fruit by showing love, joy, long suffering, meekness, temperance, by having all those things and doing those things. That's how you shine bright in this world. There's another scripture, Matthew 5, 14 through 16. You are the light of the world. And this is Yahshua speaking. Yahshua is telling us this. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. When a city's on top of a high hill, it's all lit. You can't hide that. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven.
Hallelujah. And what I get from that is basically, let your light shine before men that they may see your good works, so you can glorify our Father, Yahweh, in heaven. And basically, when we're walking in those fruits of the Spirit that we talk about, the meekness, the love, the joy, the temperance, those things, when we're walking that path of light, people are going to look at us and be like, wow, you're different, right? What is that difference they see? That's Yahweh. They don't know that they're seeing Yahweh, but that they're seeing Yahweh's spirit. They're seeing how he wants us to walk and be and treat each other.
100%. Like I said, this world is dark. This is a very dark world, and it's full of, Yahshua said it best when he was like, the hearts of many are going to grow cold. And I know as I read these things, I don't want my heart to grow cold. In spite of how you may be treated at times, in spite of the things that are going on in this world, I don't want my heart to grow cold. So I have to constantly keep in mind what kind of fruit I want to produce.
Yes.
If I truly say that I love Yahweh, then I'm going to do as my Father does. And my Father loves.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, the fruits of the Spirit that we produce: love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Temperance, that's a big one. Having self-control.
Yeah.
Having self-control of your emotions. You know, I'm a very emotional person, so therefore, like, there's things I have to, before I answer, if something's annoying me or a situation happens, I have to pull, mind for me personally, I have to pull myself away and first of all, take it to Yahweh, and then I have to breathe a little bit, just kind of work out all those negative feelings, and then I can come back and address the situation in a mature, calm way to where, hey, possibly both parties can be, you know, happy.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's, if we can learn to pull ourselves back, you know what I mean, instead of just reacting.
Yeah.
That we can kind of just control that and say, okay, I got to pull myself away. I'll be back. I just got to go. I got to clear my head.
Yeah.
And however you do that, go do that. And then you come back and we deal with the situation, you know.
That's right.
Joy. There's not a lot of joy going on. Everybody's so sad and dull and down. You know, you look around and people are just in their own little bubble, in their own little world, or they jump on their phone. I don't have my phone on me, but they jump on their phone and their face is just in their phone, you know, because it's like they want to shut out all the outside world, and especially, you know, scrolling through, you know, social media, and they're just like, they're living, you know, through other people's experiences.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they're comparing their lives to what's going on on the internet, instead of just turn the phone off, put the phone down, and you go create the life that you want for you.
That's right.
That's going to cause you to be happy. That's going to cause you to have joy and begin to produce those fruits of the Spirit.
Yep.
You have to create that for yourself. But Yahweh, He is our example of that. It says Yahweh is love. It says Yahweh is spirit. So we must worship Father Yahweh in spirit and in truth.
That's right.
So if He's those things, then we have to be those things as well. You know, think of it like this. That is your little deposits that you put to the kingdom of heaven. When you produce those fruits, you're building up the storehouses of the kingdom of heaven. You know, you're building up treasure in heaven. You're on a foundation of love and joy and peace and all the fruits of the Spirit. When we are those things and we're being those things, you know, we're building up treasure in heaven.
Yeah, we're also, because we're talking about producing fruits, it's, you know, we're also planting seeds of goodness that's going to grow. We're going to water it and grow it, and before you know it, it's going to grow into that fruit that we're talking about. And one of those fruits could be love. Another fruit is, you know, long suffering, and that's just how you can do you can plant these seeds a bunch of different ways. So you can do that by, for instance, with myself, like I go into work and I carry a positive way of being at work, right? So when I go into work,
I'm sorry, let me ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
Hold your thought. Before you go in there, do you choose to be this way, right?
Choose.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. I choose to be this way.
Yes.
And I have such influence. If I come in with a negative attitude, if I come in and I'm not my go-lucky, high-energy self, it's going to affect my team. You know, because I'm a part of a team. It's going to affect my team. And not that I have any power, but they look to me for the morale. You know, that it's pretty powerful. You know what I mean? And I've been out on maternity leave, and I go back this week, and one of my coworkers, because I'll go in and visit with the baby and stuff, they want to see the baby, and I'll go in, and she's like, and one of my coworkers, she's like, man, since you've been gone, the morale hasn't been as high. I'm just like, really? You know? And these are just these seeds that you plant that you don't even realize. I'm just being me. I'm choosing to be positive, uplifting, encouraging. You know, we have a high stress job sometimes. You know, it can get frustrating. So instead of bringing that frustration, I try to bring lightness and positivity and joy and just like, you know, and so it's just amazing that they feel that gone. And that's Yahweh's spirit. I take no credit for it, because Yahweh said, "Let your light so shine before men." That's what he's talking about. Because when they look at that, when they're missing that feeling, that emotion, when they're missing that particular way of being, they feel that loss. That's Yahweh's spirit. So that's what he means when he's saying he wants us to walk and plant these seeds and produce this fruit.
Praise Yahweh. Now, as children of Yahweh, we say that we love Father Yahweh. We are his children. Now, Mashan has a responsibility.
Yes, I do.
She has a responsibility to be a light in this darkened world. And in her case, in her job, she has a responsibility to walk in there with a spirit of love, spirit of joy, spirit of peace, spirit of long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, and temperance.
Yep, absolutely.
She has a responsibility to be a light.
Yes, I do.
So because of that's powerful. It's very powerful.
It is.
It's very powerful. Like she said, no credit to her. The only credit she gets is she's being obedient to that.
That's right.
As Yahweh's children, we have a responsibility to be a light, to let our light shine.
Yes.
Not so that we can say, "Look at me, look at me." Not we do all. That's not what it's for.
Yeah.
It's so that others can see Yahweh.
Yep.
And they can come to him.
And people will ask me, I've had people ask me, like, how do you stay so positive? How do you know what I mean? And I tell them, it's a choice. You know what I mean? It is a choice of obedience. It's a choice of staying on this path, And we've talked about it. Sometimes you're going to veer off, right? Because we're human and we're imperfect. Mm-hmm. But it's about steering yourself and staying on that path as much as possible.
Wow. That's very powerful, sis.
Yeah.
That's good. You explained to me, but I didn't know it was that deep. But I'm not surprised because
I didn't know either until she told me.
But it's okay because it's okay because it's not a surprise because you are Yahweh's child.
Yeah.
You belong to Father Yahweh.
Yeah.
So therefore, with that, you can't help but Yahweh's going to work through you.
That's right.
Because of your obedience.
And I love when you said that it's literally my responsibility, because there's days that I get stressed out, that I don't want to bear that, and I want to be whatever. But Father Yahweh reminds me, if you decide to act like everyone else, the whole ship's going to sink. Mm. And it might sound like that's unfair.
Yeah.
But it's not. Why? Because when I'm being positive, when I'm staying in that light, when I'm producing those fruits of the Spirit, I feel my spirit is fulfilled and I feel better. You know what I mean? It's so easy to be negative and to get down in the dumps and to start having all these negative thoughts and emotions run through your brain. That takes so much more energy than putting on a smile and saying, you know what? I choose to be positive. Hey, and I could be honest with the girls too. I'd be like, hey, this dog is, stressing me out, whatever, or I'm behind on my clients or whatnot. I can communicate to them, but I'm not gonna take it out in a negative content. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna be like, hey, I gotta get this done, and then I'll be back on track or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's not, and it's truly being that way. It's not just putting on a facade or being phony about it. It's real. You know what I mean? It's a real positivity. And that's what I love when people, when they ask me certain things, they know I'm being genuine.
Yes.
I think a lot of times people in this world, when you're being nice, when you're being positive, when you're being kind, people think you have an agenda. Mm-hmm. But however I'm presenting, by the grace of Yahweh, they see that as genuine love, respect, positivity. And that to me is so much more valuable than anything else, that they know and feel the generosity of it. And I love that.
Wow. You're even inspiring me to, because I do feel the same sometimes. And, your environment, it sometimes it's hard.
Yes,
You know
it
what I
is.
mean?
Yep.
It's hard. But, you know, I love that because, you know, I also bring a certain energy and light to
Yes.
my workplace as well.
Yep.
So, you know, if I'm feeling a certain way, you know what I mean? People can see that. People depend on you for that.
Yes, they do.
People legit depend on you. When people
Wow.
change their schedules, their life, just to be in your presence, just for an hour or however long. I'm a fitness professional, so I do personal training. Also, I teach a lot of classes, right? So, constantly around people, constantly giving people this energy. When people change their schedule just to be around you, you know, it's pretty powerful. We have a responsibility to continue to be obedient. And how do we do that? How do we do that? Honestly, you can't just show up and be that way. No. We got to put in the work.
That's right.
And the work is right here. The
That's
work
right.
is right here. That's why giving your tithe every day is important.
That's what I was gonna say.
Even if you can't get all 2 hours and 24 minutes done in one shot,
Yeah.
if you can give Yahweh the first 30 to 60 minutes of your day, that's before you look at your phone. That's before you start really getting yourself ready for work or anything.
Yep.
Give him the first 30 to 60 minutes every day. Genuine time. Wholesome time. Not just some microwave. I'm just going to, okay, great, done. Okay, finish that book. No, wholesome time with Yahweh. I'm telling you right now, you're going to begin to feel this charge of energy.
For real.
And it's the truth. This is real. Yeah, remember, we always say Yahweh's real. This word has a pulse. This gospel is so real.
I believe that.
So you do that. Give him. That's like your first shot of coffee or whatever you guys do, pre-workout, or whatever
your
you do.
energy drink.
That's your energy drink, right?
Yes.
That's your first shot right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That, I'm telling you, it's gonna boost you. And then throughout the day, you find that other time with him. But if you spend the first 30 to 60 minutes a day with him, wholesome time, it's gonna change your life. It's gonna change your life. It's gonna change your attitude. It's gonna not only change you, but it's gonna change your spouse, your partner. It's gonna change your kid's life.
Yep.
Okay, and then it's gonna change everybody else on this outside of that. It's gonna change your finances. It's gonna change everything. The different grace you're gonna have throughout the day.
Yep.
I'm telling you, it's going to change everything. So whatever you have to do to get that time with Father Yahweh, the first 30 to 60 minutes. I know, like for Mashan Instruments, everyone's situation is different. You know, I don't want to harp on it too much, but just everyone's situation is different. Yeah. Whatever your situation is, whether you have a newborn child, whether you work overnights, whatever you do, man, whatever it is that you do, your life, you have to find that time with him.
Yep.
And make sure you give him the first fruits of your day, the first 30 to 60 minutes. It will change your life. You do that for 1 month. Do that for 1 month. The first 30 to 60 minutes, it's going to change your entire life.
Absolutely.
Your spirit is going to change. You're going to begin to produce love. You're going to begin to produce joy, produce peace and long-suffering, gentleness and goodness and faith and meekness and temperance. It's going to change your life. You're going to be like, wow, everyone around me, everybody's been changing. No. You're changing because of your obedience. Yep. And Yahweh's changing you from the inside out.
Yeah. And you put on those new lenses that we always talk about. Yeah, put those new lenses on and you see the world differently.
Yes.
And it's beautiful.
See them through Yahshua's eyes.
And it's beautiful.
You know?
Yep.
So that's what I just try that. Please do that. That's a project you guys can really work on.
Yeah.
Whatever you have to do. If you have to get up at 3 a.m, give Yahweh that time. He's gonna give it back to you.
Yep.
He'll give it back to you.
And there's days I'll go and I just think I don't have anything left in the gas tank, and I'll go to bed and it'll be at the end of the night, and I just think about my whole day and everything I did, and I'm just like, wow, where did I get the energy to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh, Father Yahweh, and He really does, you know.
It's a supercharge, baby. It's a supercharge.
Yeah.
So so again, I want to read this again, Matthew 5, 14 to 16. You are the light of the world. Hallelujah. A city that is set on a high hill cannot be hidden. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. let your light shine before men, that they might see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. And how do you let your light shine? Through love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no penalty. And they that are the Messiahs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit.
Changing our lives, guys.
Yes, your day-to-day walk, how you present yourself at work.
Yeah.
That's a big one. We're spending a lot of our time at work. Yeah. Not only giving that energy to the people at your job, but also just doing the same thing for your family at home.
That's right.
If not more. Yeah. Because those are the ones that love you.
That's right.
Those are the ones who you lay with at night and go to bed at night and sleep under the same roof.
That's right.
Right? And like Michonne said, it gets tiring. It can be tiring. It can be draining. Yes, it is. I sleep well at night because I'm so drained at night. I'm sure you can see it the same way. You're drained. Right?
Hey, give it all. You know, you don't know when your last day is, so give it all every day.
You don't. Let's leave a legacy of love and joy and peace. Let's leave that kind of legacy. Let's not let people so much remember you for the amount of money you made or how much stocks you have or real estate.
How many likes
you got on Facebook and Instagram, you know, or any of those things. Let's let us be remembered for these fruits of the Spirit and for who Yahweh is. And let's be, wow, this person, he had so much love in his life and joy. He brought so much joy. And, you know, he was very patient, and she was so humble. She was so humble. And I that's what people are going to miss, because that's what you want to be remembered for. That's what we want to be remembered for.
That's right.
Right? Everything else we have, if you do have all these other things, that's great. You know what I mean? That's just a little bonus.
Right.
But if we have these things right here,
you want these things first.
Yes.
Nothing's wrong with the material stuff, but you want the fruits of the Spirit first.
Yes.
You want Yahweh's word first in you. That's what you want first.
And that's what Yahshua said. Seek first the kingdom of heaven, of Yahweh, and then all these other things will be given unto you. Right. The last verse for that, we're still in Galatians 5:22-26, verse 26. Let us not be desirous of vain glory, provoking one another and envying one another. Let's just show each other love, kindness. Now our gate key number 1.
Praise Yahweh.
All right, we live in a jealous family marital relationship with Father Yahweh, Elohim, and Yahshua. And we are to love Father Yahweh with all our heart, mind, and soul. And we are to love our neighbor as ourselves without any bigotry, hatred, or racism. Remember, love is not always a gooey feeling, right? Love is long-suffering. That's right. Love is patient. Love is kind, right?
So, love is obedience.
Love is obedience to Yahweh. Yes. That's how we love Yahweh, by being obedient to Him.
Praise Yahweh.
You can't physically, hug Yahweh. He's spirit. No. How do we love Him? We love Him through obeying Him. And He wants us to be the light of the world. And in order to be the light of the world, we have to produce this type of fruit.
So produce your fruit, guys. Plant those seeds of amazingness. Let your light shine.
Yes.
So that Father Yahweh and Yahshua can get the glory. Praise Yahweh. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful class.
Yes,
thank y'all so much for joining us. And remember, please download our free mobile app at yashuniversity.com and join us on a Monday night call. We have 2 classes that go on Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time and 11 p.m. Eastern Time. And for all the ladies, all the sisters, please come vibe with us on Sundays. We have a sisterhood call where different sisters even lead the class. It's beautiful ministry and community for just us ladies. So come join us on Sunday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank y'all so much. We love you. We love Yahweh. We love Yahshua. Literally everything. And thank y'all so much for listening. And we can't wait for next week.
Wait till next week. Hey, and always remember, stay inspired. There's always hope. You just got to come to Father Yahweh, Elohim, Yahshua. That's it. And take care of the rest, all right? We love and appreciate you all. You guys have a beautiful, wonderful day. And shalom.
Shalom.